Well, we see PB as two Lego bricks. One's got a P in it and one's got a B in it. And those two bricks are together at the moment, but it doesn't have to be like that. The main reason for us is we wanted people to feel they were worth something. Their opinions, their experiences, their skills were worth something. So if they voted for a project and that project existed, they knew that they took part in that, so they got an element of ownership over it. So it was the ownership bit where I think was really important. The second thing was we wanted to make sure the money was well spent. You have to make sure the public money is well spent. And so people were asked to set up their priorities locally and then to decide on who got the money, who got the dosh to do the project that local people wanted. And we've monitored the outcomes of that, looking at what differences have happened. So for instance, we've been able to invest money into schools that otherwise wouldn't have been invested. We've been able to invest money into crime that wouldn't have been invested, and it's made a difference. Extreme example of it, how it's made a difference, is crime in Manton is falling quicker now than it is across the rest of the division of the police, and has done for 3 years. And so the whole feeling of the place is changing a lot, and it's changing because of the power of PB, because a person went and voted in an informed way about what they thought was needed for their community. It's brought services closer to local people, more in tune with their needs and what they think needs to happen as well, and how it should happen. And we're now progressing the idea, going back to the Legos, we've actually detached the B brick, and we're putting other bricks onto this now, because we want to use a participatory approach to enable people to design new services, not to decide on how much money is spent in new services. Well, it was completely new. When we started, not many people in the UK were doing it. Nobody had heard of it. It'd come from Brazil. There was no template. I didn't go to my shop and pull off a plan and say, here's PB. We had to create it, and we made mistakes through the way. Ours has developed dramatically. It started off very much as a one event, come and vote. At the last time last year in 2010, the final voting, which was about who gets the money, which project gets the money, it took us 3 months. So we had a 3 months voting period, and we did that deliberately because we wanted to attract as many people as possible. And 1,528 people voted in PB in Manton, which is about 24% of the population. That is huge. And that's because tailor-making how you do it is very, very important. So there's been problems about how you're going to get turnout. Should you have a meeting? Should you knock people's doors? Do you use Facebook? And we ended up with a whole menu. We realised not one way was going to hit all the targets we wanted. And so we've got a whole menu of different ways of actually informing people and getting people involved as well.
And what excites you about it? Because you're obviously excited about it.
Well, I know it's hard to believe, but I've been a public servant for 32 years. And this is the single most exciting thing I've ever seen happening. And I tell you why. It energises people. It makes them feel important, it makes them feel valued, and they want to get involved. And so when I mentioned Coronation Street earlier on as being a big threat to community engagement, people are now turning Corrie off to come and take part in PB.